eastbound side of the sidewalk, south of Edinger.
My name is Oscar Lizardi. I'm a sergeant for the Santa Ana Police Department. I have worked a variety of assignments during my law enforcement career. I started my career with the Riverside Police Department, and a little over 20 years ago I transferred over to the Santa Ana Police Department. I've been fortunate to work a lot of assignments as a police officer. I started working patrol. From patrol I worked specialized units, like community-oriented policing task force. Then I got assigned, fortunately, to work detectives. So working detectives was a very interesting part of my career because of the investigations that I handled. I worked robberies, I worked sex crimes, theft, auto theft, burglaries. I've been on our SWAT team for 17 years, and I am promoted to corporal. Working corporal, I worked a variety of assignments. I worked a training division, I worked a downtown business liaison unit, sexual assault unit, and I'm currently a sergeant assigned to the Metropolitan Division.
My name is Travis Johnson. Current title is Detective Corporal in the Met Division, which is the Major Enforcement Team. It's a newly developed team that they had back in the day. Back in the day it was called Strike Force, but now it's called the Met Team.
Of these guys, when we're hitting these alleys and having to deal with gangsters and people who want to hurt us very bad, you want officers that are not going to hesitate. They're very confident and very skilled, and that's what these guys represent. So, threat. Threat. Threat.
One of my main things that I liked about police officers is the brotherhood. You know, it's a tight bond with the guys that we work with and the things we go through. And you know, we always say people won't understand what we do and what goes on or why the way we are. But if you work in this kind of field, you understand that. And the people that really understand are the guys that are next to you fighting. You know, that's probably the best thing about being a cop is the brotherhood. It's a family. It's like an extension of your family. You know, things we do for each other, I would do for my family, and vice versa.
George Garcia, a detective with the Santa Ana Police Department, is one of them. Diagnosed in 2016 with what's considered a silent killer.
That's exactly what it felt like, a death sentence.
George kept his illness to himself for years, not even telling his partner at the time, Patrick Marshall.
At first, it was hard for me to share, because again, it was a difficult subject to bring up to people. It was kind of one of those that out of sight, out of mind kind of things. If I don't think about it, if I don't talk about it, you know, it doesn't exist, it's not there.
The closer he came to actually going on dialysis, the more willing he was to share the news of his illness. That's when Santa Ana Police Chief David Valentine sent an email to his officers asking for help.
I had no doubt in my mind for a second that this department, that all the men and women of this department would respond. And that's exactly what happened.
Within 30 minutes of that email, George's partner back in 2016 was already filling out the necessary paperwork to be a living donor.
I saw George's name and didn't think twice. George is a good guy, and he was always there for us when we were, on patrol, always helping out, and I know he'd probably do the same for everyone else.
The community expects us to be out there and do the right thing. The community expects us to help and be supportive, even though at times we may not agree with some of the stuff. Like, for instance, we may have the demonstrations, we have sometimes protests, we have, marches, you have events that require First Amendment rights, of course, and we respect the First Amendment regardless of our views and the message, and whether we agree or disagree, that is not up to us. And I think that's what really sets us apart, where we could still be very respectful and still protect them despite all those opinions. We still got to be there to keep them safe. Today, I'd say it's still a lot of appreciation. I think we have a lot of support from the community. However, it's gotten less, in my opinion, unfortunately. But we still have a lot of support.
Thank you for your
Up and thank you, sir. Appreciate where you can stop. Yes, sir. Thank you. Seems a good team. You know, a lot of good young hard chargers that want to go out there and make a difference. Our main focus is to attack or concentrate on the violent criminals in the city, and it's not just gang members; it's anybody. Domestic violence, robbery suspects, people that are just high on methamphetamine, attack somebody. We're the guys that go out for those guys. That's our goal every day, to make Santa Ana a better place to live.
I believe in the team concept. So including myself, we work out as a team. We then shower up, get into our uniforms, come up to the office. I typically have something already set up for them to do. Whatever a plan, we're looking for a bad guy, we have to, assist the FBI or the marshals or the homicide unit, and then we plan for that, how we're going to test that. If we don't have the specific test, then we go and suppress crime on the hot spots in the city.
1638 South Standard. RCP is advising the subject is going to be in a vehicle.
So there's a suspect who's supposed to be for assault with a deadly weapon.
We really want to make sure that everybody in the community has an opportunity to live life free of fear and crime. So if we think that this neighborhood is plagued with violence, we want to make sure that the kids that live in that neighborhood, the family members that live there, could go to the store, can go to the park and feel safe. And only we can make that difference. So I make sure that my officers know that, and we make sure that we go out there and do that for them, because ultimately that's why we're here, is to serve those in need and serve the community. So I love my job.
Yeah, we got that helicopter. I think it's the one.
I don't know.
Let's see, where did it go? It said northbound, right?
All right.
That one. You got the rifle?
Yeah.
Just stay in the car.
In the event of an emergency or anything like that, every decision, every action that gets taken from this command post area, from myself and the other supervisors, will be heavily criticized and overseen and depicted. Monday morning quarterback, if you will. Obviously our responsibility is first is the safety of everybody. That's our priority. However, we also have to keep in mind that everything has to be done by procedures and policy. Values that you're getting instilled in your education and your parents, your faith. I think the best advice I can give people is just really be true to that and believe in those and doing the right thing, work hard, and ultimately, fulfilling whatever your goals are, and not necessarily falling into just because the trend, social media, and bullying or whatever it may be. I think that's the best advice I can give people. You do that, I think you'll be very successful. Definitely stay away from drugs, 100%. Drugs, in my experience, can only do, you wrong in so many ways. Drugs, stay away from gangs, and criminal activity. If you do those 3 things, whatever you decide to do in life, you're going to be successful. Stick to it, and I'm sure your parents, your loved ones will be very happy.